and we are back, and I'm super excited to introduce a super awesome friend of mine, somebody who loves Jesus, loves the gym, but also loves helping others. And so this is Liz Foster, who's an independent broker with East Texas Benefits. So welcome to the podcast. We are excited to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's just kick off.
All right, let's go.
What brought you to East Texas?
Okay, so it's a long time ago, far, far away. There was this little girl that lived in a small town, and Tyler has just been my large city for me. So I got to East Texas, in my early 20s. So we're almost at that 20-year mark right now for that, for being here. So I lived in Emory. It's about an hour north of here, and it brought me to Tyler. It was just kind of my big city. It had lots of shopping, lots of things to do, places to eat, and I actually started working here in my early 20s for East Texas EMS. Okay. Before it was UT, and I worked on the ambulance for 5 years.
Oh wow.
And it was a little gut-wrenching, but it was fun. So that's really what brought me here, and then I just kind of planted roots here. Brought my baby with me and got married, and here I am in East Texas, and I wouldn't really have it any other way. I really like it here.
That's awesome. So I love that. I didn't know that fun fact about being on an EMS.
Yes.
That's awesome. So lots of people, just like you, moved to Tyler, and so that's a big deal. Lots of people are like, that's a big city, and it is. We have all the I can't talk, you guys. I'm so sorry. All of the amenities of a big city, but a small town feel.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, so thinking about East Texas, thinking about almost here for 20 years, why did you decide to jump into this field that you're in? Share us that story.
So I feel like it's kind of been a long story, but it's all of a sudden like here in this big story. But so my gateway career was I was an EMT, went to paramedic school, jumped on the ambulance. I just started in the medical field, and I just liked it. And then so I actually did experience like a small little injury on the ambulance. Put me in the business office on light duty. They offered me a really great paying job, and I'm like, so you mean that I could work Monday through Friday and not on the weekends and get paid more money? I was like, where do I sign? So I did that, and then elected to go to college. I pursued my bachelor's degree in healthcare management, and I've been working for a hospital system ever since. I've had home health, I've had pediatric home health, I've had dialysis experience. I've got it all, and it's just, sometimes you just find your niche, and it's what I was passionate about. And then so COVID happened. COVID happened, and you begin to see the world a little bit differently when COVID happened. And I thought, something has got to be different. Something's going to change. And I began to look at, so how do I fit in this? The world just kind of stopped when COVID happened, and you began to feel how valuable you were, and the things that needed to change. So I actually, so I was working full time at a local hospital here, and I loved it. God was using me. He was working in me in so many ways. I was able to just be a part of it. I loved coming to work. I loved to have fun at work, and that was just kind of my thing. And it was very sad to see me go, but when God put something in your heart and you're like, okay, well, I think I can do this. So I went and got my license as a independent broker for life insurance. So just a general lines agent is what I did. And so I thought, I'm just going to do this part-time. We all get that like, well, I can do this part-time and supplement the income, and I'm going to have so much money. And then you're like, oh, you can't really do both. So it got to a point where, God really pushed me, and it was like, okay, Liz, you get to make a decision. And so I'm so thankful for the community I have here that helped me really make that decision. Sometimes you just need to get that. You need to be hearing from God. You need to feel the validation. You need to see the fruit of it. And I went all in. So I put like the longest notice in history, like a 2-month notice, and I'm like, this is gonna take forever. But I did. I worked my 2 months and got through it, and so I started officing from home, and I'm just like, oh wow, I have all this. I have all this time, but yet not enough time, because then things, you know, you have to look at taxes, you have to look at your schedule, you have to be motivated, you have to do all of those things. So it was definitely interesting to see how it went. And so I rocked along on this season, and I had partnered with a prior company just to kind of help as like back office and lead generation, and you know, I had like 16 clients under my belt, and I was like, oh, this is good. You know, and then sometimes you just hit the wall, you know, and you're like, okay, well, all right, okay, God, I'm pretty sure I heard from you, but is this what I heard? And then so I had some friends actually introduce me to East Texas Benefits, and had a really great meet and greet with Stephen Pine, and he was like, you know, you really need to try us out. And I'm like, okay. And then this thing was like annual open enrollment for Medicare, and I'm like, well, that's right up my alley, because that's what I did. I know Medicare, Medicaid, Champus, VA, TRICARE, like government insurance, like that's my jam. And it may sound scary for a lot of people, but I'm like, I know this stuff. And so I felt like it would be a good transition for me, and it has been. So we're actually in the middle of open enrollment right now. It started October the 15th, and it lasts till December the 7th. So it's 6 weeks of just all over the place, going out, seeing people, and that has been a super rewarding thing in itself. It has been hard, it has been fun, it has been challenging, it has been all of the things, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm doing what I need to be doing, which is helping the community. Even if I can't, you know, change the insurance or put them on something different because they don't qualify or whatever it is, but I just know that I might have been the only nice person that they saw that day.
Yeah.
You know, that could have been it. So it's been good. And so that's where we're at, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're almost there. We're almost there, and you know, tensions get a little high. And so one of my biggest passions is when I go out into the home is not necessarily just to make a change, because it's hard for senior citizens to make a change. And I may not have been the only person that has visited them that week, you know. And so the important thing is that, you know what, you're in a great position. So glad to get to meet you. Here's my business card. I love referrals, and maybe we'll see you soon. Yeah. And if anything, you make a friend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, integrity in a business is very important. So doing the right thing up front, people remember that for sure. So East Texas Benefits, that's what's East Texas Benefits.
East Texas Benefits, yeah.
So what's different about that? Because you said there may be lots of people in their home that had called them or met with them. So what's different about this particular company?
Well, I can say that in my personal experience, East Texas Benefits, we're small. So we're not a huge corporation. We're not super commercialized is, I guess, a good word for it. Stephen and his business partners have been super compassionate, knowing that when I walked into the door, you know, there's that, is this the next best thing that I need to do? And it could have been challenging for me. So they're super compassionate. They have a heart for the community, and that was important for me, is that they live here, they play here, their kids are here, they're involved in their community here, and that is the great thing, is that we'll have local events, and East Texas Benefits is there, and they have a heart for the community, and that has what has been setting them apart, in my opinion. Is because I'm a girl of community. Like, yo, I love this community, and so that's what I want. I want a place that I can call home. That if I knew that if I see these people in the grocery store, they'll be like, "Hey, Liz, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Yeah. You know, that is important to me. So that sets them apart, and they're just kind and compassionate.
Like, you're not just that person who helped them with that one thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're looking for long term, and you know, slow progress is good progress. You know, sometimes if a business gets too big too fast, it's really hard to keep up with it. And so this is, I mean, it fits. It feels right for me.
That's awesome. Well, congrats. That's really exciting. So what is is this big deal about open enrollment? Because every time I turn my TV on, every time I'm scrolling through Facebook, every time I'm on Instagram or in Google, it's like open enrollment, open enrollment.
Yes.
So what's the big deal? Why is this a big deal?
Okay, well, so let me just explain it to you like I would a client in the home.
Okay.
So my purpose when I go into home is every year Medicare gives you an option to change. Like you're never stuck where you are. Some people love the benefits. Some people, there's a particular thing that they may not like. And so my job is I go out into the home and I present to you all the different options. So I'm unbiased. As an independent broker, I get to do the shopping for you, and that's what sets me apart. Is I don't specifically represent things like United Healthcare, Humana, Christus. I do represent them, but I'm not like a captive agent. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm not captive. So I get to go to the home and I get to say, well, this plan did this XYZ, this is a great benefit for you, or you could tell me that this benefit doesn't work for you, and I'm like, great, well, we have something that works better for you. And then it is ultimately Medicare gives you the power to choose, and that's the important thing. So if ever was a season to advertise something, it is this season, because it's 6 weeks, and up until December the 7th at midnight, somebody can still make a change on their policy. But the changes actually don't go into effect until January 1st. And then again, so Medicare has all these different enrollment periods. They have like a special election period, they have annual election period, they have new to Medicare, they have all these different seasons, I guess you would say, which are highly regulated by Medicare. So as a broker myself, I have to know the rules, I have to follow the rules, and I cannot bend the rules for anybody. And because that's just not what it's about.
Yeah.
So they're going to use every method. Senior population sits at home a lot of the time. They watch TV, and so we're going to call them. We're going to send them flyers in the mail. We're going to put something on Facebook. We're going to do whatever it is, and we're going to plug you in. And in a form, it could be like clickbait. And so that is the cool thing about me, is that I get to go out to the home and be like, okay, so I live in Tyler, I work here, I play here, I raise my family here, and so that sets me apart, is that I'm just not some agent that's gonna, revert back to the abyss and you'll never see me again. But the important thing is that once you do business with me, I'm your agent for life. And if you have questions, you call me and not a 1-800 number.
Yeah, that's definitely a perk for sure.
Yeah.
So I also heard you say that you're kind of the expert. So a lot of times seniors, they don't know what to choose. So they're just paying attention to the things that are in front of them. And so it sounds like you go out there, you're the educated one, you kind of do a needs assessment for them, ask what they want in a plan depending on their situation, and then you help them fit into that right plan.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The cool thing, so Medicare offers this platform for us that we actually get to, it goes by zip code, it goes by just what do you want to pay. You can pay $0 for a premium, or you could pay $94 for a premium if you want to. It includes dental, vision, all of these really great things. And because unfortunately, there's a lot of plans out there that clients don't fully utilize. And we get to say, did you know that you have this benefit? And they're like, oh, I didn't. And I'm like, well, here we go. Let's get you connected. And that's a fun thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No better way to take care of your community. We're definitely called to take care of those around us, and those especially who don't have all the resources that they normally would have. So having an expert's important. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else you wanted to share about this company that you're with? Before I ask you a couple more East Texas type questions.
Yeah. So some really great things about East Texas Benefits is that we're a one-stop shop. So we do actually 65 and under insurance, we do 65 and over, we do estate planning, we do final expenses, we do life insurance, we do debt-free living. There's all kinds of really great things. I'm sure you guys will be including some information about East Texas Benefits, but you got to be prepared.
Yeah,
so that's what we do.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely would say be prepared. It's very important. We just experienced something in our family where someone wasn't prepared, and it is an ongoing thing. So be prepared out there. It's important. So, okay, so thank you for sharing that. Lots of info. We will obviously put this info in the description for you, but let's talk about you. So you came here, you've been here, now you're raising kids, you've raised kids, now you're raising one who's in sports.
Oh my gosh.
Just came out of football season.
Yes, Lord help
And
me.
so what season are we in now?
Basketball. Last week was football, this week is basketball. And it
Just flipped right
it
over.
just flipped, and I'm like, do we have, is there a rhythm to this yet? And so it's a lot. It's a lot. We had practices in the evening, now we have practices in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay. And, we're just going to live at school is what we're going to do.
Feels like that. I definitely can say that basketball season is, I love going to the games, but it's not my favorite practice season. So.
Okay. Good to know. Like football, I didn't get to be a part of the football practices. I would show up and they'd be all like a wad of helmets on the field, and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. And so basketball, I talked to him today and he's just like, meh, if I had to pick one, I was like, well, you don't have to do basketball. He's like, well, I'm still going to do it. I'm like, well, I was just putting it out there. So, it's just, he's 13 and we're going to do all the things. And I'm like, let's do that.
Yeah. Well, it's good for him. It's good for him for sure. So, okay, let me ask you this. Being part of the community, being a mom, an independent broker, a wife, a friend, all of the things here in East Texas, what's the place that you go that you're like, this is part of East Texas for those who are moving here, those who don't know much about East Texas?
Okay.
What do you want to plug for you that you love about what you love about East Texas?
Okay, so I'm gonna go right for it, but Church of the Pines is the place to go. Okay, I'm telling you, it has been a lifeline for my family. It's just, I have all the friends from Church of the Pines, like, you're Church of the Pines, you're Church of the Pines, we're all Church of the Pines. I love this place, and I have really found freedom through Church of the Pines. I have found a community. It's not a place where I just go and worship and learn about God, but it's all around me. So connecting to a heart of a church is exactly where it's at for me, and I love it. I love it. I love Church of the Pines so much. And so the other thing is, I love the gym. So I work out an insane amount. I work out 6 days a week and twice on Saturday. Don't ask me why, but so it kind of started out with, we have just a fun little Saturday group, getting a little bit of extra in. And then a friend at the church was like, oh, why don't you turn it into a small group? And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's been a really great small group, actually. And so we're in the middle of the small group season, and it's called Cupcakes Anonymous, which is clickbait. You're welcome. I did that on purpose because there was a couple of people that were like, oh, I thought this was a baking class. I'm like, no, it's Cupcakes Anonymous. We don't talk about cupcakes there. So it has been a lot of fun to do that. By Saturday, I am super tired, and it is a great day to just eat a bunch of food and rest. So, I will take all things Mexican food.
Yeah, my husband too.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm over Mexican food by Thursday. He's like, let's go all day, all week, and I'm like,
yeah. So I'm an early person. I'm up at 4:30 in the mornings, go to the gym, and then just chasing the next thing. But the good thing is, I feel good. I've been on this weight loss journey for 2 years now, just getting stronger and, feeling better. So it's been a good ride.
Well, that's dedication.
Yeah.
I've been on this weight loss journey for 3 months. And I ate a hot dog for dinner. So that's dedication.
No, I didn't say I didn't eat any of the foods. Like, I will eat the foods, and it's a lot of fun. And, you know, it's just consistency. And like, I will never punish myself over a fun meal again. I'm like, it's not worth it. You know, like, we're just going to move on to the next day is what we're going to do, because we're going to move on.
There's new mercies tomorrow. But I will hide it from my trainer on Facebook.
Yeah, like, he does not need to know.
But I will tell you a fun story about Liz. She kept like hinting at, oh, you should come work out with us. And I'm like, okay, what time do you work out? And she's like, 5 a.m. And she's like trying to like pump it up like it's this awesome like experience. And I'm like, I just don't know how 5 a.m. for me is gonna be super awesome. She's like, just come one time. And I was like, okay, I'm working on it, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah. I've seen you like once or twice.
It was a Saturday at 6, and I dragged my husband there.
I'm like, I ruined it. This is how I ruin friends. I invite them to the gym, and then they never come back again.
No. But one day I will show up, and it probably will be a great time. So, and
I will be there.
Someone keeps asking me to come to Saturdays too, and I'm like, yeah,
it's kind of like a thing.
One day, though. One day.
Yeah.
I love the passion. It's awesome. Not everyone has passion about things, especially taking care of ourselves is something that we, as a people, don't do a great job at. So, high five to you.
Thanks.
Okay, so as we close, I want to say thank you to Liz for joining us on the podcast. Normally we take a tour of an office, but since Liz is literally on the go, her little office is in her car. So we figured you guys have probably seen enough tours of some cars.
Yeah.
It's not like a crazy Uber that you see like in Dallas or Austin where they have those special things. It's just the car that she gets to point A to point B to take care of you. And so, thank you for being here. But before we go, tell everyone where they can find you so they can see how you do life in East Texas.
Okay, so I am Instagram girl. So it's Jesus Gym Girl. It's jesus.gym.girl. For Instagram, I put fitness, fun, Jesus, insurance, all the things. That's just my life, and it's kind of fluid. We have fun, so it's nothing super strict, and it's just where it's at. Yeah.
There's some cute little makeup tips on our Instagram too. So if you're a makeup girl, go to her Instagram, check it out. You're gonna love that.
Yeah.
Especially if you are like us and have lots of kids and are short on time. She's got some pretty cool hacks. So check her out. They're on Instagram. Thanks again for being on the podcast. We will catch you guys later. See ya.